So, this is a disaster. My fiancé, 29, and I, 28, have been looking into buying a house. We've been saving for this for years and have enough saved up to buy something small. Our city's housing market is pretty insane, so even with a good combined income, most things are out of our range. We don't need a lot of space and aren't planning to have kids anytime soon, if ever, so small works just fine. However, as a wedding gift, his parents recently offered to buy us a nice 3 or 4 bedroom home in their neighborhood. It's a bit bigger than we need and a little far from work, but it is an amazing home with a giant yard for our dogs. We were shocked and grateful and didn't think we could accept. His parents are quite wealthy, own about 7 or 8 investment properties of their own, and have always really welcomed me like family, but it just felt like too much. They kept insisting the property was owned by an older friend that had lost his wife and was looking to downsize and didn't want the hassle of putting it on the market. This way, they could buy the home with cash and he'd give them a slight discount on it and help us get started in life. We eventually agreed on the condition that they accept all the money we saved for a down payment and that the remaining amount is an interest-free loan that we would pay back monthly. Everything seemed great until this weekend when they sprung on us their other condition, namely, they also want us to agree to let my fiancé's younger sister live with us indefinitely. To be clear, I have no issue with his younger sister, Claire. Claire, 26, and I have always got along really well, which I think is one of the reasons his parents like me so much. Claire has very high functioning autism, Asperger's I believe, and has trouble reading social clues. She still lives at home, and they have mentioned they worry about her ever being able to live independently. My fiancé and I love his sister, but she can be difficult to live with as she has trouble dealing with situations if she doesn't get her way. When we explained this wouldn't work for us, it started a giant argument. First, they tried to offer it for free again, for example, we don't pay them back for it. We said no. His parents ultimately said they wouldn't help us buy the house unless we agreed, so we said we don't want the house then. Now they are calling us selfish for refusing a free house and putting their friend in a tough spot by pulling out last minute just because we don't want to share a giant house with his sister. It's pretty stressful, and his sister is apparently upset too, as she was looking forward to moving in with us. I can see how it seems a little entitled, especially when we don't need all that space and would have extra bedrooms, but are we the idiots here? Not the idiot. What your in-laws did is really pretty awful. Rather than asking you to do them the enormous favor of taking their adult daughter into your household, they dangled a free house, then sprung a condition, and told their adult daughter about it before you accepted. That is very disappointing behavior. You were absolutely right to decline. These are not people from whom you should accept gifts because they clearly will expect you to bend to their whims, whether they are clear about it upfront or make demands down the line. Danger, danger. This is not about a house, and it certainly isn't about a gift, it's about your in-laws trying to force you into a lifelong major obligation. Your in-laws are trying to force you into being Claire's full-time caretaker for the rest of her life, without even doing you the courtesy of discussing this with you first. It's outrageous to try to slip in this sort of thing under the guise of giving you a gift. This is not a gift, they are shifting upon you a burden, and it's one that you two need to seriously consider before deciding if you should accept it. Not the idiot. Wow, they screw. I think they did something this insane because they thought you would be forced to say yes and are now pretty shocked that their scheming failed. Most important thing now, as long as both of you are on the same page, is to explain everything to the daughter. She's an innocent victim in all this, and I think you need to explain that it's not about her, it's about 1, lying and 2, huge life decisions. Don't take the house, but make sure you keep hanging out with her. I was with my brother, and we were going to get food, and for some context, stuff like this happens all time when I'm with him, and I had just worked a 12-hour shift in the hospital as a neonatal nurse, and as you can imagine I have to see a lot of babies dying. My brother has always been more successful with women than me, mostly due to him being far more attractive than me. I have a girlfriend, so it doesn't really affect me like it used to, but in my youth, I had some dark thoughts. Though I realized I'm actually a decent looking guy, it's just he's way more attractive than me. I wanted to get a burger since I was exhausted, and my brother works in the city where I live. He still lives at home, but he catches the train. We met up and went to the place where we usually get burgers, and the cashier started flirting with my brother, and they were talking for ages, and when I tried to get what I wanted to eat, I was straight up ignored. And normally I'm used to being in my brother's shadow, but for some reason, this made me angry, and I told her to stop trying to flatter my brother and take my order. She asked me what I can get for you, and then I said, so, you finally decided to start serving your customers. I ordered what I usually did, and my brother took his burger and we left, and my brother said I didn't have to be rude to her, and I got angry and said that I'm sick of people ignoring me whenever you're around, and that she was being rude. He said that he thought I was better than that and left. I got home and told my girlfriend what happened, and she sided with me and said the server was being extremely rude by ignoring me. So now I'm conflicted. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot, obviously. What kind of person says something like that? You clearly still have jealousy issues where your brother is concerned, and furthermore, did you stop to consider that maybe she is also forced to work with the public at a very dangerous time and is probably incredibly stressed? Yes, she should have nipped the flirting in the bud, but how you treated her knowing full well that she couldn't defend herself was incredibly out of line. You, as a nurse, should understand that feeling better than anyone. Shame on you. Everyone's the idiot here. The cashier for flirting with your brother and shirking her duties when there are customers to serve. You were right to speak up and demand the cashier's attention, but you were rude and used such ugly obscenities in public. You lost all high ground there when you spewed such nasty talk like that. I hope you and your brother like spit in your burgers. Don't you know not to abuse people who are preparing your food? Your brother hit it on the head. He said that he thought I was better than that. Get your jealousy under control and try to be more even-keeled. Everyone's the idiot here. You were rude, but honestly, you had a good reason. That server was super rude. I really dislike it when people take their sweet time flirting instead of doing their job. Cashier could have taken your order and flirted afterwards. Reading about this cashier pissed me off, and it's very likely I would have done or said something similar, and everyone here saying you're the idiot would have likely reacted the same way. So I say, this is one of those times when, even if you were rude, it was well deserved. So I have a 16-year-old daughter that passed away in a car accident on October 19th. I've been collecting a college fund for her since she was young. My ex-husband and I both put money into it as well as she put some of her paychecks from work into it, and it's about $25,000 full. I recently got remarried to a man who has a 30-year-old daughter. My stepdaughter doesn't like me because I'm only 3 years older than her. My husband is significantly older than I am. My daughter was very passionate about the environment, and my ex-husband and I discussed what we would do with the college fund. My husband says it was my daughter and I can do what I feel is right to honor her. We decided to divide it, and we would each donate to charities we felt would make our daughter proud. My stepdaughter, however, thinks we should split it evenly, and she should get some cushion for buying a house, since I'm married to her father, and that makes my contribution his money too. She thinks donating essentially $13,000 wouldn't mean anything to a big charity and I could help someone I know in real life. My husband has since joined her side and thinks $13,000 would help her buy a house, and we can honor my daughter in another way. Am I the idiot for not wanting to change my plans? Not the idiot. I'm way down here in Narnia, so you probably won't see this, but I think it would be a great idea if you made your portion into a scholarship honoring your daughter in a field of study that relates to her interest. You could do $1,000 scholarship a year for 13 years. Her memory can live on. Have some criteria like an essay for the applicants to write regarding loss or the field of study and why they're going into it. You'll be rewarded reading other stories as well. Not the idiot. First off, your stepdaughter is 30 years old. She's no longer entitled to her parents' financial support, so even if you weren't donating the cash, you still wouldn't be obligated to give her any. Secondly, she's seeing your daughter's death as an opportunity to get her hands on as much of that cash as she can, instead of being respectful of your grief. You're not being an idiot by not enabling her selfishness and greed. If anything, you'd be an idiot to your dead daughter's memory if you did give that money to someone who saw her death as nothing but a cash grab. Not the idiot. I'd get the stepdaughter's argument a little more if she was 10 years younger and just needed a little leg up to buy a place and agreed to pay the money back eventually. At her age though, pushing for a cash injection from the former college fund of a suddenly deceased teenage family member, not biologically related if I understood your post correctly, is inappropriate and she definitely shouldn't be working on your hubby like that. The decision is and should be between you and your ex-husband. This happened a few years ago. My then girlfriend and I had been together for 4 years and lived together for 1 when it happened. First 3 years were long distances, at least 250 kilometers, but then she left everything and moved to my city. And important to know, she suffers from an illness where she gets boils or lumps under her skin. She can mostly keep it under control, but sometimes it acts up, she can't even get out of bed and has to go to the emergency room to get it drained. There's not really a cure for it, so she just has to live with it. That summer there was a really big and important festival in my city that only happens every 10 years during the summer and lasts for a weekend. I was excited to take her and got us VIP tickets to gain access to all the clubs and events, and all my out-of-town childhood friends were coming for this, so I was really looking forward to it. The week before, her skin condition got really bad, and on Friday morning the boils got so huge that she had to go to the emergency room while I was at work. It was worse than we thought, and she ended up having to get an actual surgery to remove the boils and spent the night in the hospital. I had a dinner planned with my out-of-town friends that evening, so I did not go to see her and planned on going to pick her up the next day, but things got a bit out of hand and I forgot to do it. She had to go home alone. I apologized deeply when I got home on Saturday afternoon, and she said it was okay and quickly fell asleep afterwards. I figured it would be okay if I went to the party anyway since she couldn't go, and I spent a lot of money for the ticket, so I left. She woke up around midnight, saw that I wasn't home, panicked and texted and called me so much and begged me to come home because she was not okay, which I thought was unfair because she had everything she needed at home and was mostly just sleeping because of the pain medicine, so I just turned my phone off and only got home on Sunday evening. She gave me the cold treatment, we eventually talked about it, and she said she understood as this event only happened every 10 years and that I hadn't seen my childhood friends in a while, and she knew how much I was looking forward to this, but that it hurt her a lot and she needed a bit of space to reconsider things. I tried to make it up to her, but things only went downhill from there. A month later her best friend drove up to help her move back home, so one day I just got home from work to a half-empty apartment and a letter, and that was the end of that relationship. That hurt me a lot, and to be honest, I kind of just hated her ever since. That was 3 years ago, and I just saw on Instagram that she's now engaged, which led to a discussion with some of my friends on why we actually broke things up since I never spoke about it then. So I told them and they said I'm a massive idiot and she was right to leave the way she did. I'm not sure I'm the idiot because she broke my heart, but what do you guys think? You literally, 1. Went to dinner over visiting your very ill girlfriend in the hospital, 2. Forgot about her at the hospital, 3. Left her while asleep without letting her know you were going anywhere, 4. Ignored her panicked calls and texts because you didn't give enough of a crap to let her know what you were up to, and then, 5. Couldn't be bothered to properly apologize and actually make things up to her because let's face it, she wouldn't have just up and left one day without a word if you had. You are the idiot. If this is your side of the story, then it means her side is actually worse. And from your side, you already are a massive idiot. You have no excuse for giving up on your girlfriend the way you did. She was going out of surgery and you just forget about her. Then you leave her alone and scared and turned off your phone because she was bothering you when she was begging you to come and help her. You're lucky she stayed 1 more month with you. You are the idiot. I'm happy she found someone who actually cares about her. You are the idiot and you really messed this one up in such a way she left you over it. Good for her for being a strong enough woman to know her worth and move on to a partner who would be with her when she needed it the most. That wasn't you, buddy. You were in the wrong every step of the way. Sounds like you have some growing up to do before being in a relationship again. Also, don't hate on her when it was you that let her down and broke her heart first. I am a retired man on a pension. I don't get much money and I have to live frugally. My daughter had an affair with the man she is now. This broke up her marriage. The new family member is a 15-year-old teenage girl who is technically my step-grandchild now. I don't see her often nor do I know her. She lives with her mom. My daughter and her husband married as soon as her divorce was finalized 18 months ago. This has been extremely hard on my grandson. He is 17 and moody, angry, upset, lashing out at his mom. He doesn't want to live with her, but his dad hasn't got a stable home due to the divorce. My grandson is in need of someone in his corner. I decided. I wanted to gift him some money for Christmas. Normally I don't give cash to any family member, but I want to help him. He is not dealing well. I gave him the money in secret and asked that he invest wisely. Not blow it on girls or pot. He said he will buy a car. I said okay. My daughter found the cash in my son's room after doing a random search and wanted to know where the money came from. I told her the truth so she would not suspect my grandson of wrongdoing. She told her partner and they both want me to take my gift back because my stepdad's granddaughter is left out. I don't want to take the gift back. My grandson needs to know someone is thinking of him. I do not feel I am obligated to gift money to someone else's child just because their parent has a skewed vision of what is fair. I will gift the girl some chocolate on Christmas and I think that is appropriate. My wife has passed away and I have no one to ask, so I am hoping the internet will be of some use. Thank you. Not the idiot. Even if they were both your biological grandchildren, still not the idiot. You are giving a gift specifically because a family member is having a hard time. One person not getting a gift is not them being neglected or forgotten. That girl is not entitled to any money. She just doesn't have someone offering her a gift. Then finally you couldn't be an idiot because you tried to keep it between you two. No malicious intent, no being petty and rude, just a gift. Definitely not the idiot. Not the idiot. My dad married my stepmom when I was 21 years ago. I don't view her family as family because I don't really view her as family. I like her, but I see her 48 hours a month. I'm not or have never been offended when my half-brothers get gifts from her family. I have my own family. My grandparents, paternal, have 15 grandchildren and as far as I know I'm the only one they set a bank account up for, but it was because I visited them often just to visit and I was being raised by a single mom and their son didn't contribute much. It wasn't a lot, but I will forever be thankful for that. Absolutely not the idiot. You don't even know your step-granddaughter and it sounds like you gave your grandson a lot of money. No way you should have to give that to her as well. Honestly, sounds like your daughter is trying to get back at your son for lashing out and is hoping that you will just decide to not give him the money because of her condition, that you also give the same to the step-granddaughter. Also, step-granddaughter would probably not expect you to do the same for her as you would your own grandson. I know I wouldn't.